So in this video I'm going to talk about dictionary. Okay, so before going to in details, let me show you what is dictionary is. So in previous video I have shown you about the collection things. Okay, so dictionary is a similar type of data structure. So if you go to this Microsoft documentation, then you will find this. A dictionary object is the equivalent of a per associative array items, which can be any form of data are stored in the array. Each item is associated with a unique key. So same thing, that the key needs to be unique, and the key is used to retrieve an individual item, and usually an integer or a string, but can be anything except an array. So item can be anything except array. The following code illustrates how to create a dictionary object. Okay, so this is the definition of dictionary. So I'll go in details in these things. So this is a method that add, exist, items, key, removeAll, and property. So compare mode. This is important, that compare mode. So in dictionary there are two types of compare mode. One is VB binary and another is text compare mode. Okay, so if you use the text compare mode, then it will ignore the case sensitivity. If you use VB binary mode, which is default, then it will use case sensitive, or it will consider the case true when comparing the key. Okay, so let's suppose I have this data. So country, sales amount. So if I just turn this to a table, then if I want to summarize this, then I can usually use maybe pivot table. Okay, so let me select table range. It's selected. Existing worksheet, let's suppose if I want to put this here, and country, and then sales amount. So I guess order come up. So this is the final amount. Okay, so Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, and so on. So this will look like this. Let me put this as a table format. So option, layout, sorry, not in this case, that will be in design, report layout, show in a tabular form. So that's it. So now you can see this amount. So we can easily do this type of things by using dictionary, or we can replace VLOOKUP, because if you have a lot of data and if you use VLOOKUP maybe more than 50k, then it will be slower. Then in that case you can use the dictionary. Okay, so before going to show you how to use dictionary or what is the use of this, let me explain the basic things. So this is blank, so let me insert module. So dictionary, okay, so let me add a test. So now dictionary is external library. Okay, so you cannot use it on Mac. That's the disadvantage of this dictionary data structure, and it's little bit slower. I will talk about this comparison, speed comparison, in maybe after completing this dictionary and collection. And by the way, collections third part will be recorded soon. Thanks for the watching. Okay, so if you want to use early binding and late binding, so there is two things, that one is early binding, which means that you need to click that DLL or external library, which gives you the opportunity to use this dictionary. And another is that late binding. So if you use late binding, then you don't need to enable this. So late binding is convenient when you give this code to someone else, so that they do not need to enable that DLL. But early binding has a little bit performance advantage. Okay, so it's little bit faster than this late binding. So what you need to do that for this early binding, then you need to go to this ref tool, then references, then you need to find that Microsoft is scripting runtime. Sorry, so it put M, then you need to find this, that Microsoft scripting runtime. Yes, this one. So Microsoft is scripting runtime. So location, say Windows system. So it's Scrunn.dll. This is the DLL you need to enable this. So you need to enable this, and then you can use the dictionary, or you can use early binding. So early binding has some benefit like that you get the intelligence. So it will be easy to code. Okay, so you can convert this early binding to late binding later. Or there is another code adding Rubberduck. So if you use Rubberduck, which is a cool things, then you can go to this tools, then add and remove references. Then you can see this, that all the DLL is enabled. So all the enable DLL, so I can just exclude this, or you can include that. Okay, so apply, cancel. So I just cancel it. So if I want to add that again, so I'll go to this tools, add or remove references. So here is the cool things that you can search this. So Microsoft scripting runtime. So you can see this, that it's fine that mess things. So that will be much more easier instead of going scrolling down. Okay, so sorry. Or maybe scripting runtime, that will be much more easier. So enable this, apply this, okay, and this. So this is how you enable that DLL for early binding, and for late binding we will use code. So I'll show you this in later. Okay, so as we enable this DLL, now we can use the intelligence. Okay, so dim, let's suppose country collection as scripting.dictionary. Now you can see this, that it's showing you the intelligence. Okay, so if I use set country collection equals to new scripting.dictionary, now country collection dot, now you can see these things, that add, compare mode, count, exist, items, key is remove, and removeAll. Okay, so this is how you if you use early binding, then this is how you declare the variable. And as I said earlier, that you can merge these two lines in a single line, but I don't like that, so I use this one. Okay, and then this is how you declare the variable and set that variable to the dictionary. Okay, now for this one, now you can see this, that this is the data, right? So country, and this is sales amount. So now if I go to Baylor section, now you can see this, that there are 4609 list of data, or row of data. So I can find the last row. So if I want to find the last row, so dim last row is long. So we are using sheet 1 and width. So that's why width and end width. So last row, so that will be dot cells. We are going to all the end. So 1048576 for upper version of Excel 2007. Okay, and we are going to use the column A, because column A has the data, and then end Excel up, and then row. So it will find the last row. Now I can use array, or I can use maybe cells and use a for loop. Okay, so array will be little bit faster. So dim ARR is variant, you can use a sensible name. Why is this variant? Because one type of data is text, another type of data is actually currency. Okay, so that's better to use variant. So ARR is going to be the range, and that will be A2 to B and then up to last row, right? Dot value. So now we have already taken the data to an array. So if I want to use the loop, then I need to use variable to look through it, right? So dim element as variant. So for each, for each constructor is little bit faster than for I equals to L bound to U bound, right? So for each element in ARR, next element. Now what I need to do, that I need to add this data to dictionary, right? So dict, actually country collection dot. Now let me explain this different method and property. Now you can see this, that add method. So it's saying that adds a new key item pair to a dictionary object, okay, and exist. So return a boolean value. So add method will add the data, right? So if I use this to add the data, right? So dot add. Now it's asking that you need to keep the key and then item, right? So first one is key, so that will be dot element. Oh sorry, you cannot use for each element because we are in a 2D, so I cannot use for each in this case. So element as no, instead of name this element you can use index. So that will be for index is equals to L bound, sorry, mirror wants to A bound, the upper bound, error first dimension 1. Now I need to add the data. So first one is key, so we know that first index is holding the keys, right? So 0 and this is the key and the item is 1. But before running this, let me show you something interesting, okay? So this is index, element will be replaced by this index, okay? So if I run this, up to this no error. If I go to this watch window, now you can see this, that its index is started at 1 1. So when you are reading data from range, then it will always use 1 as a starting index of array, okay? So that's why it will be 1 and this will be 2, okay? So that is the interesting thing about this getting data from range. So now if I run this, then it's saying that runtime error 457, the key is already associated with an element of this collection. So similar type of error like the collection, okay? So now you need to handle this error, or you need to do another thing, okay? So now this is add method, you can add the item, and as it's returning error, then you can use error handling, or there is a better way to do this, right? So that's this item method, okay? So sets or return the value of an item in a dictionary object. So item, not items. So items actually return all the item in the dictionary object. So it's used for getting the item from a dictionary to an array. Okay? So this is item method. So you can use this item method like country collection dot item, and that will be the key. So So the key is ARR index 1 is equals to, if there is already this item, then I need to add that, right? Because we're summing of things. So just copy this and paste this way. So let me reduce this side window. Okay. Now, if you look at these things, let me rerun it. Okay. So to this, no error, no problem. If I run this, there is no problem. Okay. So why is this happening? Because the item is using a check, right? That if you want to add a key, then it will check that if the key is already present or not. So if there isn't any key by this name, then it will add that key and then val. Okay. And if it's already there, then it will use that key and we are adding the data. Okay. Now we can see this, that dictionary, sorry, country collection. Now you can see this, there are 185 countries, right? So if we go to this, so it started at 3. Now you can see this, that this is 187. So 187 minus 3, that will be 184, and as it's in it started 3 and ended 187, then 1 will be added, so 185. So there is 185 countries. Okay, and this is the item 1, item 2, and item 3, and so on. Okay, now, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong, right? So this is index is this, and this is saying that we're trying to get the value right, and then we're adding that. So yes, let's see. So let's run this again. Now for I equals to index is 1, right? So that is very fine, right? So I think it's very fine. 1, maybe we're doing something wrong. Oh, I see. So this is checking the item, right? So country collection dot item oh, main thing is this. So now you can see this, that this is the file of this Philippine country, right? So this is Philippine. Now you can see this, the value is 956.56. okay, so this is adding the data. So if I use this, then you can see this is adding the data. Now let me get the value of this, or run the loop for this dictionary object. Okay, so this one is adding the data. Now if I want to print the data, so element, or I can say that country as variant, and for each country in country collection dot case, sorry, next country. Now debug.print country collection, and that will take this key, that is country. name, and let me put this to this place. Open this, clear this out, and if I run this, now you can see this that the data is printing in this. Okay, so let me put something is like the country is that country, and value this one. So let me clear this out. If I run this again, okay, now you can see this that Philippine is 8493.96, right? So if I go to this Philippine, that is P, so Philippine, so that is 8493.96, right? So that is adding up the data. So the item method is retrieving the element, okay, and then it will adding the data. Okay. Now you can reduce these things a little bit more, like sorry, just let me copy this, paste it here, and now you don't need to use this item method. You can get rid of this. You don't need in this place too. Now if I run this, similar type of results will be printed. Okay, so if I run this, now you can see that the Philippine is still having this M. So why is this happening? Because the item is default method of this dictionary data type. Okay, so if I go to this object browser, dictionary, right? So scripting dictionary, now you can see this, that item. So in this color it means that this is the default member. You can see this, the default member of the scripting.dictionary set or get item for exit and keep. So this item method is set the item or get the item. So this is default, so that's why you don't need to use this dot item method. So because this was a default method. Okay, so this is one way that you can add this when the item is not present. So you can get this data, then you can just paste it in this place. For this example, but as I said earlier, that there are a lot of fields of this dictionary data structure which cannot be achieved by this pivot table. Okay, in this case the pivot table is easy and 2 or 3 click away. Okay. So that is the way you can look through this data of this dictionary. Okay, so this one, now you can see this, that we can get the value from the key, but you cannot get the key from the value. Okay, and it's obvious that you don't know the value of all the elements, right? So this is the way you can look through this. So I already explained this add method, right? So you can add the item. So if you are trying to add same item multiple times, then it will throw an error 457. And what is the use of this exist method? Okay, so for this one, let me use a small example. So this is okay. I don't it doesn't matter. I don't need to find the last row. I don't need these things, right? Okay, now let me add something like country collection dot add. Sorry, what's happened? So country collection dot add method. Now I need to give the key. So maybe my country Bangladesh and then maybe number 20. So country collection dot add. Let's suppose if I add this India, maybe third P or something. It doesn't matter. So the exist method. So country collection dot exist, and now we can see this that it's take key as a boolean key, and then it returns boolean. So it say that if the item is present or not by this key. Okay, so let me put Bangladesh, and if I want to show the output, so debug.print. So let me put this. Okay, it doesn't need this. Sorry, anyways. So if I run this, now you can see this, that's true. So this method is checking that if by this name any item is present or not. So if I reduce this a little bit, and if I run this now you can see this that this is returning false. So this exist method just check that if any item is present by this key or not. Okay. One more thing I want to show you in this place, that Bangladesh, but this time I am using B as a small b or small letter. Okay, so case sensitivity, I'm checking the case sensitivity. Now if I run this, now still it's showing that this is false, that by this name there is no item for this key. Okay, so why is this? Because its default option compare mode is VB binary. Okay, so if I click this, then you can see this that binary compare, so perform a binary comparison. So that means it will take the consideration of the case sensitivity, and text compare is a textual comparison, and database comparison is only available in Access, so it doesn't available in Excel. Okay, so how can we bypass this, or can we use this option CompareMode method? So country collection dot compare mode. Okay, and that is going to be this text compare. So if I use text compare, now if I print this or run this, now you can see this that this is returning true. Okay, so let me put it here, the cursor, so it will print in this place. So this is returning true because this time it's comparing based on the text, not the case sensitivity. Okay, and if I use, let's say, database compare, let's see what it does. True, so it doesn't showing an error, but it's not available in Excel actually. Access only perform comparison based on information in your database. Okay, and if you want to use, okay, I'll talk about this. So that is the exist method. Okay, that check if there is any item by this key or not, and this is the use of this compare mode. Okay, so I already explained this add method, right, exist method and compare mode, right? So there is items and keys, right, and the key. So sets a key value for an existing key value in a dictionary object. New key, actually it's set a new key. So if I want to show this one, then let's suppose country collection dot key, and then key will be Okay, so this will be the old key, so that is Bangladesh, let's suppose. So Bangladesh, and the new key is going to be the, suppose if you use Bangla. So it's just an example. Okay. Okay, so now if I run this, now you can see this, that country Bangla, although we add this as a Bangladesh. Okay, so this is the use of this key method. So if you want to change the key, then you can do this by using this dot key property. Actually, it's not a method, right? So this key method, especially key properties, and then item already shown in this when we are adding the data, right? Or we are adding up or summing up the data. Compare mode is already shown, so these things are still not shown. Okay, now if you want to count the element in this collection, then collection in dictionary, so you can use this dot count. So if I show this output, so print, sorry, total country. So if I run this now, I don't need to print these things, so you can put it in this table. Now if I run this, now you can see this total country is 185. So that means it's giving us the total element in this collection, sorry, in this dictionary. Okay, so this is the count property, and if we want to get the key only, then we can use country collection dot keys. Okay, so let me put a debug point in this place so I can show you in this window. Now you can see this is the all the country. Okay, so that's the use of these keys. Okay, so one is key, another is keys. Okay, so key is the return of the key of this collection, and if you want to get the value or item, then you need to use this dot items method. Okay, so let me run it again. So this is the file. So this is the, so this is the item of all the keys. So that's the use of this items and keys method. Okay, and so the left method is this remove and RemoveAll, right? So if I want to show you the remove method, then let's suppose if I want to remove what was that? So let's suppose if I want to remove the Philippines, so country collection dot remove, then I need to give the key, and that was Philippine. I have not doing any spelling mistake, so let me just repeat. So Philippine, right? Sorry, so that's it. So, oh man. Now, if I want to use this, let me put this in this debug point. Let me put this. Now let me run this. So now you can see this, the first element is Philippine, right? So let me rerun it after removing this. So let me rerun it. Now you can see that the first element is not the Philippine, and you cannot find that Philippine in this place. Or you can use the previous things, that print and shall use the exist method. to check if this element is still there or not. Let me use this instead. So now you can see this is false. So if you think that it's due to the text comparison, you can still try by using the compare mode. Okay, so this is the use of this remove method, and if you want to remove all the element, then you can use this dot remove all actually. So now let me run this. Sorry, there should be. Okay, now you can see this error is blank because we already removed all this element from that dictionary. So let me run it again. Now you can see this, that there is no element in this dictionary. Okay, so that's all about this method, about the dictionary method and properties. Okay, so just add the data like this. It checks if any item is present by this name or not, and then items method, it's return all the items to an array. Is method return all the key to an array, and remove a item by taking the key or by using the key, and remove all digits. Compare mode, it's for case sensitivity. Okay, and count, it just count how many element is there in this dictionary, and item, it just set or get the item by using key, and key used for setting a new key of an existing item. Okay, so that's all about this method and different data properties. Okay, now let me show you something that if you want to use this after adding one or two element, then it will throw an error. Now invalid procedure call or argument. So that means the on type of error it could have is that invalid procedure call or runtime error 5. So if I want to enlist these things, sorry, let me close this. So runtime error 5. So the reason of this error is that you are using option compare mode after adding any element in the dictionary. So check compare mode actually. So you need to add this compare mode before adding any element. Okay, that is one type of error. We already have seen this 457 error when we are adding same element by using same key, or same key is used multiple times. Okay, now if I run this, so it will throw that runtime error 457. The key is already associated with an element of this collection, so that is another type of error. So this error, runtime error, that is 457 actually, and reason for this error, same key multiple times. So you need to handle that error, or you can use the dot item method. Okay, so this is the second type of error in this dictionary data structure. Okay, so we get rid of this, and as this option compare mode is not present now if I use this key, then it will add the element and there will be no error. Now you can see this, that Bangladesh is coming twice because we are not using textual comparison. Okay, so compare mode is not text but binary. So you need to be careful about this, that when to use this compare mode or not. By default it's case sensitive. So we already talked about two types of error. Let's try to use different data structure except let's suppose 20 and maybe 30. So if I run this, now you can see this, that it's taking the different data structure, sorry, different data type as a key. As like the collection does not take any data type except string as a key. Dictionary takes different data type. Let's suppose if I use that, sorry, I don't need this. So if I run this now you can see this. So that this key can be any data types. Okay, so let me try to use another data type. Let me insert a class module. Let's suppose it doesn't have anything, but let's name a string as name as a string. Actually, I don't need to keep this team. I can use public. It's same things when it's in the module level. Okay, let me instance it as class 1. I'm just testing, so I'm using dummy variable name. Okay, so set class name class 1, and then let's add this CLS. Now if I run this, now object doesn't support this property, so you can add that, but you cannot print this and this section because it's a object. Okay, so let's see that it can have any data type as a key. Let me use an array too. So equals to range. Let's suppose we want to be 10 dot value. Let me add this country collection dot add, then ARR, and then invalid procedure code. So you cannot use array, you can use object, date, other than data type. So you cannot use array. Let me use for 10 and ARR. Okay, so if I run this, so now let me run this again. So type mismatch. So the only thing you cannot use as a key is this array. So now you can see this, that the required all is the name of dictionary object, key value being changed. Okay. So if key is not found when changing a key, a runtime error will occur. So this is for key, but what about this? Retrieve an individual item, usually an integer or a string, but can be anything except an array. So key can be anything except array. Okay, so that is one difference between this collection and dictionary. So you can use any data type as a key except this array things. Okay, and let's suppose the key method. Let's see that error. So entry collection dot key, and the new previous key is maybe CLS class. Let's suppose this one. It is 2 plus 2. Anything, doesn't matter. We are just trying to understand the error. So that is runtime error 32811. Method key of object iDictionary failed. So because it couldn't find this key, sorry, CLS is still showing error because that is object. Actually, the key was object. I don't know any case where you need to use the object or as a key, but still it's maybe a good use. You can try. Okay, so let's suppose instead of this, let's suppose India. We are not using, so it's still showing an error method of key of object iDictionary failed. So that is another type of error. So runtime error 32811, right? 3211, I guess. Sorry. Okay, run this 3281 method key of object iDictionary failed. So that is, so the cause of this error is that you are setting key, new key of doesn't exist key. So these three type of error you will encounter very often when you are using this dictionary data type. Okay, so this is all about this different method of this dictionary and the error type we encounter by using this dictionary. Okay, one more thing we are going to see in this video is this lead binding. Okay, so you can see this that we get all these type of intelligence when we are using this early binding, but the problem is that you need to enable this. So if you send this file to another computer or another person, then he will encounter another type of error. Let me show you that. So let me and then apply it and copy it. So now if I run this, then compiler will be shown that user defined type not defined. So it's considered that it is a maybe user defined type because it couldn't find any matching things. So that is the compiler error. So this is another type of error, that compiler error. So that is check reference or use lead binding. So that is another error type. So now if you want to use this thing but you don't want to enable this, or you don't want to ask your friend or client to enable this, then you can use this lead binding. Okay, so the lead binding thing is that you need to use this as a object. So the variable declaration will be dim dictionary country collection as, instead of scripting.dictionary it will be object, and then set method will be create object, and that is scripting.dictionary. So just copy this, paste this. Okay, now if I run this now, so this is due to this thing. Let me end this. So just copy this two line using this section so that get an error. In that text too, I was showing error, different type of error. That's why it was showing error in every line. Okay. So now if I run this, now we can see this that there is no error type and this section and check that the reference is not enabled. Okay? So that is the use of this lead binding. Now if you use this lead binding, now you can see there is no intelligence. You cannot get any intelligence. That's why it's better to code in early binding, then later you can just change this two line with this two line, and your code will work. Okay, so that's all about this early binding and late binding. Late binding has some performance issue, but it doesn't, sorry, it's not significant. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that. So that's all about this dictionary, different type of error, and introductory video about different method and the property of it. In the main video, we'll talk about the use of this dictionary data structure. Okay? Thank you all. Thank you for watching.